Who is the greatest apostle? I believe it's Simon Peter, who later became known as the Rock, the one on whom Jesus built his church. But why him? Let me explain. In Matthew chapter 4, verses 18 to 22, we read that as Jesus was walking by the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon Peter and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. And Jesus said to them, "Follow me and become fishers of men." And immediately they left their nets and followed him. Now, this calling of Peter is significant because it shows us that Jesus didn't just choose the religious elite to be his disciples. No, he chose a simple fisherman who was willing to leave everything to follow him. And Peter, along with the other disciples, learned from Jesus and became his followers. But Peter had a problem. In Matthew chapter 14, verse 24 to 33, we read that one day he got into a boat with his disciples, and he called them to himself. And while they were in the boat, he fell asleep. And they woke him up, saying, "Lord, save us, we're perishing." And he says to them, "Why are you afraid, O you little of faith? For it is I who am in the boat with you. I am in you." So he got up then and rebuked the winds and the waves, and they ceased, and there was a calm. But those in the boat worshipped him, saying, "You are truly the Son of God." Here we see Peter doubting in the midst of a storm. He sees Jesus sleeping peacefully in the boat, and he thinks to himself, "How can this man be the Messiah if he doesn't even care that we're about to die?" But then Jesus calms the storm, and Peter realizes that Jesus is truly divine. He has power over nature itself. And Peter makes the confession that Jesus is the Son of God. But there's one more thing we need to look at. In Matthew chapter 16, verse 13 to 19, we read that when Jesus came into the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" So they replied, "Some say John the Baptist, some say Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." But when he had come to be alone, his disciples asked him the question, "Who do you say that I am?" And Simon Peter answered, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." Then Jesus said to him, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood did not reveal this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I also say to you that you are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it." Here, Peter confesses his faith in Jesus. He calls him the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus affirms Peter's faith and tells him that he will be the rock upon which he will build his church. Now, this doesn't mean that Peter will literally become the rock. No, he will be the person who represents the rock. He will be the foundation of the church. Peter was the first pope. He led the church in the early days after the ascension of Jesus. He was the one who preached the first sermon on the day of Pentecost. He was the one who baptized the first converts. He was the one who led the church in Jerusalem and Judea. And he was the one who eventually took the gospel to the Gentiles, to the Roman world. So, yes, Peter was a fisherman, but Jesus chose him because he had faith in him. Peter was willing to follow Jesus, even though he doubted at times. Peter was willing to learn from Jesus, and he became the rock, the foundation of the church. If you want to know more about the great apostle Peter, watch the videos on my channel. Until next time.